Good morning, beautiful being. Thank you for hanging out, waiting for me, if you were. Between this and that, I got held up today. But what's wonderful is that a Wednesday morning, it's okay if I run late. So everything is in place. And I want to push my luck because I know this phone is on the way out. I've had more evidence this morning. That's one of the main things that's made me late. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do it this way. Maybe I'll show you flowers like this. Because I don't want to turn the camera around because yesterday that made the live stream break. And I need a new phone. So I'm going to take action on that hopefully today. We'll see. It's a bit of a challenge. I started researching phones. Hang on, here's a flower. And I thought, oh my God, there is so much choice. I need advice. So I'm going to get some advice. Because I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours working it out. So there you are. That's our little beauty shot. There's the sky. And there's the tree above us this morning. I'm just not going to risk turning the camera around because I know this phone, it served me so well for 3 years, nearly. I can never remember what year it was that I started doing this for 21 days. And yeah, I think it's nearly 4 years now. I lose track. So, anyway, we're out here. I'm not going to show you much of the world because I don't want to risk breaking the live stream. And so that gives me more time to talk to you about today's topic. And it could be subtitled How to Go from Zero to Hero. But, well, anyway, it's not really about how to go from zero to hero, but it is about what it takes to go from zero to hero. Good morning, beautiful people. It is great to see you. I don't know who you all are, but it's lovely to see you. I do recognize you, Mike. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, beautiful being. Stephanie, it's you. I got to remember that's your picture with your lovely, lovely little baby. It's lovely to see you all. Welcome, welcome. So, I wanted to talk about how easy it is for us to give our power away to our circumstances. And what I mean by that is, whenever you or I say, I am feeling this way because of that thing or that person or that thing that happened to me in the past or this thing that's going to happen to me in the future, which may or may not be so, but we believe it and then we have a reaction about it, we give our power away to that thing, that person, that situation, that predicted future or that known past. That's what you do. Because you say that thing is telling you how you're going to feel. That thing is running your effectively. It's running your body. You're allowing it to fire up memories and associated thoughts and expectations and all those things. There's a neural net in your head about that person or that thing or whatever it is, and you think of it and it fires up and everything inside your head is there because of some experience you had in the past. Martin, good morning. Good evening to you in France. That's it. That's everything inside your head that reacts or responds to something in your external environment is from the past. It cannot be there in the future because to have a neurological connection in your brain, you've got to have an experience that made you make that neurological connection. So if something in your external environment then makes you think a thought, you think, oh, I know how this is going to go. Oh, man, shit. Why do you have that reaction? Because you've had some feeling or experience or whatever it was in your past and you're making that connection. And yes, we've got a real camel infestation going here. I think camels, by the way, are bumps on the internet. I think this phone's RAM, its memory, is starting to die. So yeah, I have to replace it very quickly. We make a series of replays. So I'm just going to get closer to the house in case that helps because of where the Wi-Fi is coming from. So, because there might be, oh yeah, it's bumpy. So, you see, there I am, right there, making guesses based upon my recent past experience and anticipating the future. about what this phone is going to do. And it's fairly reasonable because the phone is old and it's done very good service and it's been acting up in the last few days. So, that's how we do it. We get experience and we make extrapolations. And, I'm studying live this morning. I'm seeing the bumping. I'm hoping it's recording okay. G'day, Jen! When I'm starting the live, and it's so bumpy, I'm going to go in and check that the Wi-Fi is actually on. I was actually feeling a little tension because I thought, oh gee, what happens if the phone dies? Because we anticipate. And here I am, allowing the evidence that I'm experiencing, excuse me, fighting with the keys here, to encourage me to go inside and check that the Wi-Fi is on. And it is. But this is bumpy as hell, so yeah, I need a new phone. And the problem is that with the new Facebook, I can't go live on my desktop anymore. It just doesn't work. So it's kind of awkward. So, if I disappear for a few days and there are replays, that is why. Right, back to the topic. So, but you notice that I am very purposefully not stressing out. Yesterday, when I came out here at 12:30 in the afternoon to do my Sang Marie Live, which is my weekly update about beautiful Sang Marie Gomez and the Gambia and what he's doing and his journey to transform his life, it just broke. I started the live, you were there, Mike, and it just cut off, it just froze, and for me the screen went black, oh, no camera suddenly. And what pleased me about it was that no part of my body reacted and got stressed or worried about it. None at all. Didn't stress. Did I say hi, Jen? It's lovely to see you. If I didn't, hello, it's lovely to see you. I just didn't react. And I just thought afterwards, talking with you, Mike, oh yeah, I really have changed. Because I would have got stressed. My shoulders would have tightened, or I would have had some kind of fear reaction. Like, oh my God. But no, I just rebooted the phone, didn't stress about the fact it was making me late, and just got on and did it. So, that's a change for me, really. My body would have reacted once upon a time. And yesterday it just didn't. It's like, oh, okay, reboot the phone, whatever, carrying on. So my body did not get to be my mind in that situation. Andrew, good morning. And this is the thing. If we allow our circumstances, the difficult people, the financial challenges, the physical challenges, the environmental challenges, whatever they are, to be the reason why we allow ourselves to feel bad, you're giving your power away. We're giving our power away to those things. As long as you say, well, I feel like this because of that, there's nothing you can do, because the only way you're going to get to feel better is if that changes, and you might have no control over that. And the problem with saying, well, that's going on, and I mean, it can be a real, you feeling bad because of that, it can be absolutely justified. A relationship breaking up, or a loved one who's sick, or whatever. But your body doesn't really care why you're feeling stressed. If you feel stressed in the long term, it is a scientific fact that you are pushing the genetic buttons for disease. Every organism in nature can handle being stressed for the short period of time. If the gazelle needs to run away from the lion, it's a good thing to have a stress response. But, if the gazelle doesn't get caught by the lion, and it's worth expending all the energy that you have to not get caught by the lion, right? That's a really good thing. But if the gazelle gets away from the lion, Carmelina, good morning! Then 15 minutes later, it's back to grazing, it's back to growth and repair and healing its body of whatever it was that happened or whatever was going on before. Sandy, good morning! And it's over. Augusta, g'day, sweetie. Luana! It's lovely to see you all jumping on with me. Thank you. So, this is the thing. We have the ability as humans, because we have this massive frontal cortex and we can remember stuff, and we can make a memory from 45 years ago as real as if it's now or yesterday or tomorrow. Sanjia, good morning. And the thing about that is that you don't just have the memory, you have the chemistry of that memory as well. And if you keep on rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing the memory and the bad feelings and the anticipation and whatever, then you are like the gazelle that gets away from the lion, but it's running that memory. Oh my God, I got away from the lion. Oh my God, that was scary. Oh my God. And it just gets stuck in runaway mode. And humans do this. Most of us. And when we're not conscious, when we don't realize it, you look around and you see the people who are permanently stressed and they just think it's normal. And they're always complaining, or they're always afraid, or they're always angry, or they're always sad, or whatever it is. And they are stuck in stress mode, whatever it is they're reacting to. They've reacted to it so long, so automatically, so much of the time, that it's like it's just, I don't know, it's like the hum of the refrigerator. It's always there. It's always there that they are this person. They're like that. Bodies transmute that uncharted trapped energy. Yeah, it does. It does. And let me talk about that a little bit, thank you, because, the energy we often, and me too, the energy we often think of as something spiritual and energetic and electromagnetic, and it is, but I want to unpack that a little bit, because this is one of those things that, it can be terribly woo-woo, but if you understand the science of it, it makes more sense. So when you have that stress response, whether there really is a lion in the room, or you're just remembering something that roared at you yesterday, or potentially is going to roar at you tomorrow, right? That's all that we do. We react to something that happened before, like me saying, oh, my phone's, going to blah, blah. Or we anticipate what's coming. But if we think that it's a lion, we have the reaction, right? So the neural net in your brain that's about that experience you've had, which has associated chemistry with it, because you can't have a thought without a feeling, and the feeling is chemistry, that's fact. It's also resonance, it's also vibration, but I'm talking about the chemistry at the moment. That chemistry signals your body to take energy from your vital field, which can be measured, right? If a person's really coherent and in love with life and feeling fabulous, it's up to 9 meters wide. They can measure it. 9 meters? 9 feet. 9 feet, 3 meters. I don't know. I think I'm not sure. But you can measure it. That field of energy gets bigger when a person is happy, when they're in rest and digest, when they're in growth and repair. But when a person has a stress reaction, a stress response, and the body says it's time to run from a lion, it literally takes energy from that field that can be measured. That field shrinks, and it takes that energy, and there's a chemical signal goes to the hormonal centers, and it turns that energy from your vital field into that chemistry that says, right, we got to send the blood to the external limbs, the extremities, so that we can run really fast. We've got to shut down the digestion, because digesting food and repairing the body is not a priority when you've got to run from a lion. We've got to shut down the thinking part of the brain, because you don't need that when you're running from a lion. You need the instinctual part of the brain. You need the emotional part of the brain that can react before you've even processed the information consciously. That's where the energy goes. And that's fine if there really is a lion to run away from. But if there isn't, and it's, the person who sits next to you at work, or the person who betrayed you 5 years ago and, kind of destroyed your life, whatever, and you're still thinking about it 5 years later, all that time you've been drawing from the vital field of energy around your body and literally turning it into chemistry. Now here's the thing, stress hormones, so at least two things, there's a ton of things about stress hormones, but these are the two things that I got in mind. Stress hormones, if you keep pouring them and pouring them and pouring them and pouring them and pouring them into your body, which we can do by exactly that kind of thinking and feeling all over and over again about something, they literally burn the tissues of the body. It becomes like acid. Short term, really good for giving us a burst of energy to run away from a predator. Long term, they burn the muscles. They create chronic pain. Quite a few people who have chronic pain, this is at least part of the problem. The energy literally gets stuck in the tissues of the body because it's chemistry that hasn't been used for running away from a lion or throttling your co-worker, because you can't do that. So as my inspiration, Dr. Joe Dispenza, says, it's like sitting in a car, a Formula One car, with your foot on the gas and your foot on the brake at the same time, because you want to kill somebody, or you want to run away, or you want to scream, or you want to feel sad, or whatever it is, and you can't, because, you know, you're not somewhere you can do that. So that's the first thing. The energy that you've taken from your vital field and turned into chemistry literally gets stuck in your body and your tissues, and it creates disease. Pushes genetic buttons for disease. It does. That, again, that's fact. Don't have to argue about that. The number of people who have a really stressful event happen, and then 6 months later they manifest cancer or depression or some autoimmune thing, and their life was fine before. That's how it works. This is how it works, right? That's the first thing that I want to say about stress hormones. The second thing about stress hormones, and you do got to find a way to release it, better talk about that a bit. Second thing about stress hormones is they're actually addictive. We get addicted to them, and we don't even realize that we are addicted to the very crappy feelings and the crappy life that we have, because our body has gotten conditioned to those stress hormones, and our body actually finds ways to get its fix. We unconsciously, the body says, oh, there's another thing that I can fixate on to feel upset about today. Great. Everything stays the same. I know what to do by feeling upset about stuff. I'm familiar with this. I've done it for 39 years. Let's not change a good thing. I know what to do. The fact that it's pushing the genetic buttons for disease has nothing to do with anything. This is not conscious, not logical. It's just what the body does, because the body likes to keep things the same. And so to change it, finally getting back to the point, thank you for triggering that thought, Sunshine. I would have completely lost the plot. Still got time to talk about it. To change that, we have to take our power back from those circumstances, from those people, from the memories, from the anticipation of some future that we think is going to be awful. And we're already reacting to it. Like, this is a really cool fact I found out from Dr. Joe. You know, somebody has cancer and they're going to get chemotherapy, and the doctor says, look, you might feel nausea, because, you know, and we sort of generally know people get nauseated when they have chemo. In fact, they don't all, but, you know, quite commonly. So what happens is 50% of people who are on their way to their first chemo treatment get nauseous on the way over. It's anticipatory nausea. They haven't even got there. They don't have the substance in their veins yet, and they're already feeling sick, because they're creating it in here. We are so powerful this way. So how do you change it? Well, you have to be greater than your environment, and you have to be greater than your body, and oh man, that's a tough one. And you have to be greater than time, because you've got to do those first two for long enough that stress response gets turned off, the autopilot gets reprogrammed, because we're always on autopilot, Andrew, you're quite right, but we have to change it, because 95% of everything we do in any one day is just automatic. And I mean, that's handy, because you don't want to have to learn to walk and talk and drive and do your job and everything else every day. That would be really inconvenient. But when the autopilot is killing you slowly, well, you have to be able to actually get into the operating system of yourself and make changes there. And, you know, I've talked a lot about slowing your brainwaves down so that you become suggestible to new information. I haven't talked about it that way, but I was just listening to Dr. Joe talk about it, you know, and the thing that I was listening to yesterday when I was doing yoga, and I reminded, oh yeah, that's what we got to do. That is the how. I'm not really talking about how. And the thing is, when you do that, Sunshia, to come back to your comment, and this happens for me practically every day, in a small measure, it's like, for me, it's incremental. Because I kind of laid down a neural pathway that's thick enough and wide enough that I can get into my own operating system. And it's taken me 2 years. 2 years that I would never exchange for anything, because I just love who I'm becoming, and I'm so grateful to be changing my autopilot. Misty! I'm so glad you are meditating. Bless you, honey. That's good for you. So it now happens every time I go into the unified field, every time I do one of Dr. Joe's meditations. Sooner or later, and it depends on me and how chaotic things are and how long it takes me to become really coherent, but energy starts to release from my body. And I feel it. Now, how do I feel it? 2 ways that I'm quite familiar with, and everybody's different, so don't you think, oh, I should have that. But I get heat, and it can start in different places in my body. Quite often it can start in my heart and go up to my head. I honestly, I get hot, and it's not a hot flash, it's heat. Sometimes my whole body warms up, sometimes it starts in my feet. It's amazing. I know that it's a sympathetic nervous system response. Sometimes my heart rate will elevate a bit. For some people, when this happens, it gets much, much bigger. Their body just goes crazy, really hot. They're sweating, and the heart rate is really fast. And it's just the sympathetic nervous system releasing all of that energy out of the body back up to the brain. And meanwhile, the person is feeling absolute bliss and ecstasy, because when all that energy goes to the brain, that's what you feel. It's amazing, and I've had a taste of that. So that's another thing you get, is these amazing awarenesses and sensations and experiences that really are difficult to describe, but you could say bliss or ecstasy. And there are no drugs involved. There's only whatever chemistry I'm producing in my body. So I feel heat. I have moments of bliss and ecstasy. My body shakes sometimes, because I don't know, it stretches and my spine flexes. All of that happens, and I let it, because I've learned to trust it. And the other thing that I feel is you could say it's like tingles, and most of us have had tingles at one time or another. One of the way that many of us have had tingles is when you get bad news and you get those tingles in your gut and they kind of spread out. That is a stress response actually saying, gut, shut down. You just stop working. That's your gut shutting down in response to stress. But you can get that kind of sensation, or I can get that kind of sensation through my body. It quite often starts on my feet and goes up. And sometimes it just keeps going, and it's like my whole leg, or it's my heart, or some part of me is just vibrating. And that is, I know from what I've learned from Dr. Joe again, that the cells are actually resonating and vibrating, and they're receiving information, or they're releasing energy. It's all in both, and who knows. But I get familiar with these, and so I learn to trust them. And I know with me it's incremental, because I can't have a huge experience that takes me a week to recover from, because I can't stand up and do it live if I'm like, whoa, I don't have a brain. And you get that. I've seen people come out of coherence healings, and they can't talk. They can barely move. This is like the body has got so much energy. It's really amazing to watch. And of course, after that's all integrated and finished, they're physically different, and they're emotionally and neurologically different. It's amazing. But I can't have that happen in the morning. I can have it happen on a Saturday or a Sunday if I need it to. So this is the deal. We do have to realize that the energy of us being stressed long term gets stuck in our bodies, and every time we use something outside of us as a reason to feel bad, we are contributing to that. It's not about denying the crap that's going on. It's about dealing with it and not staying stuck in the emotions. Okay, so I haven't really talked about the how, but I've talked about what happens when it changes. And I know I'm out of time again. So, big love. Thank you so much for joining with me on this rather bumpy live. At least it was to start with. I'm going to get me a new phone. Well, a new second-hand phone, I hope. I don't want to buy a new one. I want a pre-loved one. So, we'll stay in touch. Big love. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.